Right. So the past couple of weeks, we have been focusing on it went from shame and then it went to uh, setting goals and accountability around ourselves, which we'll do a little follow up on that to see how it went this past week. And then on our last shadow work and gratitude call this past Thursday, we got a little bit deeper into relationships and kind of crossed over that loving ourselves with the shame. And to continue going forward, today on goals and accountabilities, we're going to be talking about boundaries and needs in context to ourselves, but also in context to relationships. And if you can tomorrow, at the same time as our call today, Brian and I are doing a webinar with our colleague. Her name's Dr. Divi on we have a container coming out which is called Love Trust Trauma. Honestly, it's ridiculously low priced. We really wanted this to be accessible to everybody, and tomorrow we have a webinar. It's going to be awesome on codependency within relationships, the difference between symbiotic relationships, codependent relationships, and it's going to be really good. Like, you're not going to want to miss it. And just to be clear, tomorrow is a free webinar, kind of like teasing and taste testing what our Love Trust Trauma program is going to really be like. And tomorrow is like seriously jam packed. We had a little call discussing it today, and yeah, it's going to be super good if you can make it. I think Brian, you just dropped the link there. Yeah, you did. Awesome, cool. So yeah, if you wanna make it, you can check that link out there. Okie dokie. So, and if pen and paper are always handy to have on these calls if you don't have them, but you can also do typing and stuff because we like to do some prompts and things like that. So I'm going to be doing my typical portion where I'm going to be dropping some knowledge bombs on everybody, and then Brian's got some amazing practices that he's going to run us through. Boundaries has been something that Brian has been passionate about since I've known him, and has certainly helped me with a lot of my areas of boundaries within my own self and with not feeling shame when enforcing them and all those types of things that can come along with enforcing our own boundaries, especially in relationships. So I'm going to talk about two things today. I won't go on for too long, although I fear saying that sometimes it turns into big conversations and all of a sudden we've all gotten involved. What I'm going to be talking about is a personality trait that's called agreeableness. Agreeableness is part of the 5 big personality traits, and it doesn't mean like yes sir, yes ma'am, I agree. Kind of does, but that's not really what it means. Agreeableness ultimately means avoiding confrontation. And even more so than that, agreeableness means not wanting to make other people uncomfortable or unhappy, even if it's at your own expense. This is a personality trait. So some people have what's called trait high agreeableness, and other people have what's called trait low agreeableness. Like, I am quite low in my trait agreeableness. And that doesn't mean that I'm a bad guy. It just means like I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing and I'm just kind of doing it. And sometimes it might bug someone and I might not be as aware of it as other people. Versus people that are quite high in trait agreeableness, they'll be constantly like tuning in to how other people are feeling around them. There's pros and cons to almost all of these personality traits. Like, low agreeableness, um, if other people are sad, it might not make you as sad. It's great for business because you can go and negotiate and ask what you want and charge higher prices and close sales and not be worried about how the closing of the sale makes the person feel because you got a target that you're aiming at. But then obviously, if you're too low in agreeableness, you can come off as quite brash. What is another word that's been used to describe me? That's condescending, right? You can come across as though, even though you don't mean it, right? You can come across that way because you're not really tuning in. How it's kind of like the facts, not feelings type vibe with the people that are on the lower agreeable spectrum. And then higher agreeableness, they care about people. Right? Yeah, the sharp edges, exactly. High agreeableness cares about people, right? That's desirable. What's not desirable about it is when you avoid confrontation. I have this program, you guys have probably heard me talk about it a handful of times now. I'm obviously excited about it, on the 7 deadly sins and what they do to your brain, your body, and your relationships over an extended period of time. And I have this module called the Peacekeeper's Path to Wrath. In a paradox within the confines of a relationship, it's oftentimes not the low agreeable person that leads to the relationship falling apart. So it's oftentimes the person that really cares about how the other person feels that ends up walking the path to destruction within the relationship. And so, like, here's like the, I don't know, the hilarious slash like kind of stereotypical example, and it has to do with the dishes. Right? So what happens? We're in a 2-income household, man, woman, or whatever, 2 partners, one's more agreeable, one's not. The one partner is working hard all day, comes home, kicks his feet up, hangs out, whatever. The other partner comes home and the dishes are there, right? And that person goes, oh, like, I'm kind of tired. I wish my other person would do the dishes sometimes, but I love them. They're good. They work hard. Maybe their job is a little harder than mine. I'm just going to do these dishes, right? And then they do that day 1, day 2, day 3, day 200. 2 years go by, and all of a sudden that person just explodes. You don't even love me, right? You don't even know how to love me. I'm doing the dishes every damn day. And the one person's like, damn, damn. That's where guys get the whole like crazy bitch saying from. Because oftentimes the woman is, I love him. I'm the peacekeeper, keeping the peace at my own expense. And then all of a sudden it boils up. And what happens with a highly agreeable people, this is the path. It goes resentment, bitterness, wrathfulness, or maliciousness, or some other word that is destructive in nature. And so you can have 2 low agreeable people actually have a really good relationship, because they come in, they're like, yo, you can do these dishes sometimes. The other guy's like, wrestle me for it or something, right? And it's just like a weird thing, but they're setting their boundaries, they're doing what they want to do, and it can work out really well. Now, obviously, 2 low agreeable person can also not work out very well, because you got 2 people that care way more about themselves than the others, and that can lead to a whole bunch of things. But 9 times out of 10, relationships crumble to the ground because people are trying to keep the peace instead of keep their own peace. And this is a personality trait that is called agreeableness. Anybody done that? Raise your hand or drop a little thing in the thing. Yeah. And as usual on these calls, we've all done it. Right? Like, there's been one thing that we haven't all done before. Now, does anyone have any like questions or maybe things we want to drop into the chat? Like I can think of a example for me. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this more engaging after I talk about the codependency, because it does lean into this a lot. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah. It's just such a funny paradox, that whole thing, right? Like, the people that love the other people so much are the reasons why it falls to pieces. And then this is how we enter the shame game, right? Because they see them doing it. They see them sacrificing themselves. Anyways, I'm already getting ahead of myself here. With our codependency and recognizing it webinar tomorrow, I'm going to be saying 10 signs that you can recognize you're either in a toxic codependent relationship or you're entering one. And then I'm also going to have 10 things that you can do to like rectify it, or how to recognize what the healthy symbiotic relationship looks like. Today, I'm only going to talk about 1 out of 10. Ooh, got to get you guys excited for tomorrow. But it's very tied into what we're talking about right now. And the first thing that you can recognize if you are in a toxic codependent relationship is abandonment of self, which means you neglect your own needs and you have trouble setting boundaries. So in a codependent relationship, one partner may give up their own needs and wants to accommodate the others. Guilty, super guilty of that one. Which then leads to shame and guilt. Why? Because I'm sacrificing myself. And then we get into the shame game, which if you were on a couple weeks ago, the rumination, denial, shame game. You may have difficulty setting boundaries with your partner, and you may feel guilty when you try to enforce them. That's agreeableness. You may put your partner's needs above your own, even if it means sacrificing your own. Guilty. Not going to say something because I'm scared that it's going to make them upset, and I love them, and I don't want them to abandon me. So I'm going to abandon myself instead. You frequently cancel your plans with friends or family to be with your partner, even if it means sacrificing your own needs and desires. You have a hard time saying no to your partner. You find yourself giving up hobbies or interests that you once enjoyed in order to spend more time with your partner, and you feel like you've lost your sense of self within the relationship. So I know those are all pretty sturdy things, and there's certainly things that I've done, and I'm really looking forward to hearing Brian's workshop personally today on these boundary settings, because it's a careful game you got to play, because some sort of negotiation and compromise is critical to a healthy relationship. You have to be willing to bend. But you can't come in and just break, right? You can't just come in and just totally give it up. So there's going to be some sort of negotiation that's got to go on. Like, oh, I want to see my boys 4 days a week. Well, I want to see you every day. All right, how's 3 days a week sound, right? Like, there's got to be some sort of negotiation that goes on within this. So I'll just quickly go through this again, and then we can do some prompts. And Brian, I'd love for you to do some prompts here, because hear the gears humming. Give up your own needs, difficulty setting boundaries, putting your partner's needs above your own, canceling plans with friends or family, can't say no to your partner, and giving up hobbies or interests. That's a telltale sign of abandoning yourself. Would love for Brian, for you to take it from here, brother. That's my knowledge and information on abandonment of self today. If anyone has anything they want to say, of course, we always say vulnerability is the currency of relationships, and these community calls are not just meant to be lectures. They are meant for us to all come in here and talk. So if anybody has any questions or what is base here, I'm known for being a little too agreeable. Peacekeeper's path to wrath has definitely happened to me. But if anyone has anything they'd like to say, would love to have you contribute or ask questions, of course.
Yeah, and you guys will get some time to share. I'll have some things that you guys will probably want to share. Oh yeah, Mara, cross my boundaries to keep peace in relationships, definitely. So thank you, Matthew. That was super informative and good to know. And how this is going to tie into goals is I'm going to get you guys to do an exercise that will play into basically satisfying one of your own needs and getting connected to that. And then from that place, you can figure out how to express your needs to others. So first thing I want you to write down in the chat, if you're willing to, when was the last time that you carved out time to actually figure out what your needs are? Like for you as a human to thrive at your best. Like when was the last time you I'm going to carve out time, I'm going to figure out what do I need to do for me to be the best version of me? When was the last time you did that? You can be like, I haven't done that. That's okay too. Nice, Steph. I knew Steph. I was like, I just envisioned you saying, so I knew it. That's awesome. When did I last do this? Actually, I do it every day. Yeah, nice, AP. Okay, cool. You guys can keep pouring them in. Okay, so the reason I bring this first is because the first and most important relationship you have and the longest one you'll ever have in your life is with yourself. And the reason that we get in codependent relationships, or why we don't ultimately have the life we want, is because we are primed to look outside of ourselves and think the world's happening outside, but it's actually happening inside and then coming outside. So if you don't know yourself in a really deep way, then there's just no way you're going to be able to have an external experience that's going to feel aligned and feel empowering and feel good. So from this, why I say that is because, you know, the relationship you have with yourself and connecting to yourself is so intimately important. Like that's the basis of all that we do at HPA really is like, what is our coaching? It's like helping you to have a relationship with yourself and every part of you, from the things you want to achieve to, you know, finance, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all this stuff is relationship to self. That's what it comes down to. So what I'm going to get you all to do is write down in your journals, what are 3 things that you know you need? You can just start with 3 if this is the first time for you, but you can keep going on. But what are 3 things that you know you need in order to be the best version of yourself every day? For me, like, for example, one is like, I need my morning routine. I need to like have a certain amount of space from my phone. I need to go outside a certain amount of time. So those are kind of like my 3 things. Those are my needs usually, like to be my best self, like space from screens, outside time, and like my morning routine. But what is it for you? Like, you know, maybe take a moment here to really think about that. Like, what are like 3, maybe 5 things that you know that you really, really need to be your best version of yourself? And yeah, so I'll go with that. And one last thing I'll say as you guys are diving in is if you haven't done this before, it might be challenging and you might think like, well, what do I need? Like, how do I find that out? Like trying to look outside of ourselves because we've been primed to do that. So really just be honest with yourself. What is it that you need? And whatever that is, whatever comes up inside of you, that matters. That's important. It's totally fine. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. It could be like, I need to eat a banana every day. Awesome. Fantastic. I need to do a handstand every day. Sure. Whatever. Whatever that is for you. And if this is very easy for you, maybe writing out a few more things. And if you do this quite often, like if you do this often like Steph does, maybe you can take a moment to reflect on like how your needs have changed over time. I just got some Yato in the background. It's good. And that's going to be you and me, Matt.
Yeah, will be. So is this like throughout our day, things that we need each day?
Yeah, I'd say like the things that you need to give to yourself, like your needs for yourself to shine, to show up as your best self. Could even be like sleep, could be anything really, but and yeah, the level of difficulty will come mostly like if you haven't really connected with yourself a lot, it might be really hard. It might be really like, oh, I actually have no idea what I need. But that's a good place too. If you're like, I actually don't know what I need, that just means, oh, great. I'm going to learn a lot about myself now that I have this perspective. And then if you have lots of things, it just means that you've been reflecting on yourself more and asking and realizing like what you need. And I'm just going to read what Brandon says here. I struggle past that. Yeah. What was I going to say here? So I was going off there for a moment. Yeah, if it's hard for you to figure out what you need, you can look at the times in the day where you felt like you're low in energy or you were angry or you're upset or you're frustrated, probably because your needs weren't being met. What did you need in that situation? Maybe you needed to not be talking to that person. Maybe you needed to rest more. Maybe you need to go outside. And what Matt said, like the ways in which we please the outside environment, usually we can switch that around and be like, actually, I need that instead of giving it away. Like maybe I shouldn't make myself so available. Maybe I don't need to be doing as many meetings. Yeah, these types of things. Yeah, exercise, freaking great example. Alrighty, so now some people are starting to share. This is great. If you want to share your 3 or 1 or something like that, what are the needs that you need? I made it very general. We might go deeper into this. We could put this in the 5 pillars as well. Like, what are your needs in the 5 pillars? Yada, yada, yada. I'll write mine too. Morning routine, nature, time, movement. Sweet, everyone. This is awesome. Conversations with God. Yes. Didn't even think of that one, but it's so true. Conversation with the higher power. Sweet, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Did anything, before we move on, I do have a couple more steps to this, but did anything interesting come up for anyone that was like, oh, wow, like, I didn't like, whether it's like, I didn't really know I needed that, or this was like insightful, or anything like that for anyone?
I think for me, like I get this as I dig deeper into who I am and these kind of questions with myself. I guess where I struggle the most is like I imagine myself integrating a lot of the stuff that we're bringing up in these calls, and I imagine my entire world just imploding because of it. Whether it's people around me, relationships, literally where I live in the world, just like all these like snowball, massive explosion of things that it creates like this massive, like even like tightness in the chest of like I know I need these things. I know I want these things, but like, holy shit, the day that that all comes through is not gonna be. It's not gonna be the same world I'm living in right now. And I guess I'm wondering, like, without completely exploding everything, just like steps, like how to integrate it slowly, how to, you know, to hopefully preserve as much of what is healthy about what I have now. I guess that's where my brain's kind of like rapid firing right now. But like, cool, 10 things I can do, bang, and then it's like, holy shit, everything would be different, and in good ways, but also like holy shit.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Brendan. I just want to make sure I understand. So you're asking that, like, this is a lot of, like, if you were to create all these changes, there'd be massive change in your life, and it would change your social dynamic and the way you live and like everything. And like, how do I make that change in an incremental way?
Yeah, how to do it in an incremental way that's not, actually, I shouldn't even say that's not going to destroy everything that is built the way it is, because it's built and causing the anxiety that it's causing because of the way it's built. So I'm okay with it all changing necessarily. It's just, yeah, like you say, the incremental steps and how to work on implementing that in a way that's going to, I guess, get results, therefore reward the activity or the behavior.
For sure. I would say the approach is also the answer. So whenever we want to, like, we are the behaviors that we do. Like, our behaviors are what we end up becoming. And of course, our environment will prime us to have certain behaviors. So there's an intimate relationship with the way we set up our environment. We talked about this in a call before. Like, if I have a journal out in the morning, I'm setting up my environment for success for, the journaling. And then the behaviors that you do make you that person. So, but if you want to create new behaviors, a great book called Tiny Habits, you really have to start with small behaviors so that it doesn't take a lot of willpower. Because if you're using willpower to create new behaviors, you're going to burn out. And then you're not going to have any willpower for the things that are actually hard, like the things that you don't want to do that are actually going to build your business and the person you want to become. So think of your willpower as the reserve that you need to swallow the frog. Have you heard the saying, like, swallowing the frog? It's like, so yeah, save the willpower for the shit you don't want to do, but you have to get you closer. And then when it comes to like making changes in the person that you want to be, as long as you make a small change, so a tiny habit of behavior that's small and you can do, let's say you're starting a new behavior, you want to make sure you can do that for at least 2 weeks. It's that easy. And then over time it becomes habitual. And this change, like, let's say you do that over a year, it's like massive change, but slow over time. And this is where I've seen people don't keep change, and then they get in this chaos loop. They're like, okay, I'm going to run tomorrow, I'm going to start exercising, I'm going to start doing all this stuff. They do it for like a few days, and then they stop, and then they try again, and then they just completely stop, and then they feel ashamed, and then they go in a cycle, and then they try and do it again. And basically they do that for a year, and they don't get anywhere. And then people around them are like, yeah, okay, you're going to try and change again, blah, blah, blah. So if you take like a incremental approach, usually it won't seem so chaotic. The place where it might show up and be difficult is like the relationships, right? If people expect you to come out, you're like, actually, I'm not going to come out. I'm going to like go to bed, or I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And that's inevitable. It's like when we change the way that we want to be, the people around us will change. They'll either evolve with us or they won't. And then if they don't evolve with us, it's just making space for the people who are going to evolve with us or who are at that place. They're at the same frequency, they're doing the same work. So there's always a period of loneliness. Like, I've lost a lot of friends over the years, not because of bad stuff, just because I was like, they're not they're not bringing me to a place where I want to be. And that's a good thing. Like, it's just like, if they're not supporting you and they don't understand the ways in which you want to change, if they don't celebrate that, it's a clear sign that it's not personal, but that's not the type of energy you want around you. Does that answer your question?
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hit the mute button or the unmute. I'm like, come on. No, I appreciate that. That was definitely along the lines of where I'm going. And I mean, I think I could talk about it for a lot longer than that, obviously, but I won't hijack the call for that sake. But I think it'll probably be powerful within the emotional stuff that or relationship stuff that Matt's talking about later this week and tomorrow and that. So I'm excited for those calls to maybe dig into it a bit more. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being conscientious of the time. Cool. Okay, maybe for brevity's sake, unless someone is like really urging to ask something, I might go to the next part. Okay, cool. So let's extend this. Well, what I would say, action item. So if you're like Steph and you're like, you got this dialed in, you know your needs, I would just say maybe like continue that or use it as a reflective tool. Like, sometimes we can go back in time and say like, wow, I've really like, look at how much I know about my needs. Like, I've really grown, and that builds confidence. So if you're someone who does this a lot, just use this as an opportunity to look back and build your confidence and see how far you've come. If this is new for you, I would encourage you to do at least one of these needs every day of the week, something small, right? Drink 2 liters of water, whatever it is. Make that commitment to yourself, because we can lose trust with ourselves. And when we lose trust with ourselves, it's reflected in our energy, in the way that we conduct our business, our relationships, everything in our life. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to like actually know that when you make a commitment to yourself, you're going to do it. And we do that by making small commitments first. But moving on to that, oh yeah, I'll get to that, Matt, in just a sec. Matt sent me a direct message. To further this, I want you guys to write down 3 needs that you would have in a partnership, in a romantic relationship. Now, this one can be spicy. I've had the most difficult time with this. It's like, oh, why should I have needs? Like, is this like, what are my needs? How can I expect this from someone? So if you're like me in that sense, what I would say is, don't think about the other person, think about yourself, even if it seems ridiculous. Like, I need you to, say hello to me when you enter the door. Doesn't matter. Like, right, just start writing down these needs. What do you actually need from someone in order to feel loved and seen, even if it seems irrational? And the reason why we want to even write it down if it seems irrational is because even if it is irrational, if we're not giving ourselves the permission to understand that need, then that need's always going to keep coming up. And even if it does come from a place of scarcity or codependence, we need to address it first and have it be understood, and also a willingness to like share the needs to someone, and they can say, no, I can't provide that. That's okay. But if we don't communicate those needs, then people can't be informed to have real relationship with us. That's like, I'm sure you've all been in a situation that I've been in. I'm like, I don't want to express these needs because I like what's happening here and this is feeling good and there's some red flags, but I don't want to express these things and, turn them away. If you've been there, maybe raise your hand. We're like, I'll be the nice person right now. I'm going to do the things that feel good. I don't want to make this uncomfortable. I don't want to rock the boat. And if you're having some issues with this, I can share one of the needs I've realized are that I don't like to be interacted with a lot in the morning. I need some time in the evening to not be spoken to. So those are 2 needs I need in a relationship. I like to be, I want my partner to be excited about the things that I want to share. Like, they want to be involved in the things that I find exciting, and that we can share those conversations and be excited for each other. Like, I want to be celebrated, and I want to celebrate my partner in their passions and the things that they love. Those are needs that I have. I also have a need to like be able to put my work and my development before the relationship. The byproduct of my filling myself up pours into the relationship. So that's a need that I have, and maybe that'll help you with your needs. And then also, yeah, like vulnerability, honesty. Thank you for sharing, Mara. So if those needs are coming up for you and you got a good list going, maybe just share them. We can share in this beautiful container. Love your needs, Mara. Those are awesome. Nice, Brennan. Yeah. Quality time stuff, setting goals together. I like it. I don't think we won't get to do boundary stuff in this call, but we will do it eventually. But I think it's important that we go over needs first, because your needs, in my opinion, kind of will help you define your boundaries. Because if you, well, of course you need your needs met, and then the boundary usually comes around that. Like for me, it's like I need to be able to do my morning routine. So boundary is I don't want to be communicated with or interrupted during my morning routine. Or I want open communication, even though things can be difficult. So a boundary is like, don't hide things from me, in communication, these types of things, right? So they can be very intimately tied. So I find first coming into the deep recognition of our needs for ourselves as individuals, and then in partnership, is a very valuable first step. And then usually we can find out what boundaries are around that. I mean, they're not always connected, but sometimes when we know, like, okay, I know what I need. Now I know the boundaries in which I can set myself up with. And thinking of boundaries as not like, instead of thinking of it as a wall, think of it as like, this is the space in which I can be loved. I'm defining the space in which you can love me the best. I think that's a nice way to put it. I got some more good needs in here. Thank you, Eric, for sharing. Thank you, Tiana. Plan check-ins. That's a really great one, Tiana. Love that. Vulnerability. AP, thanks for sharing, brother. Amazing. You guys are doing awesome. Matt, look at you coming in with some hot needs. So good. Thank you, Bae. Look at y'all. You guys got amazing understanding of needs. So good. Cool. Okay, let's see here. Did anything come up for anyone that they'd like to share in that? That one can be a bit more spicy. Or maybe about needs with romantic connection with others. Has it been hard for you? Has it been easy?
Easier for me than the first one. Yeah. Which goes to show like where my thoughts are. They're way more on another person and a relationship than just on myself and nurturing that. I'd actually ponder for a moment, but this one I was like, I know what I need in a relationship, what I don't want. That was interesting to observe.
Cool. Anyone else feel like sharing anything? Anything's relevant. It's just an open container.
I have not been in a relationship for so long that it feels like almost like unreal for me to like visualize it. Like it's kind of hard. Back when I partied a lot, that was the last time that I was in a relationship, and I was so foggy and just didn't even really know what my needs were. So it's kind of funny being so conscious now and like thinking about it, which is something that I haven't really done. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Really appreciate the share. Sounds like you're doing some good work on yourself, Steph. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just want to actually say thank you for saying that stuff, because like you put it perfectly. Like honestly, I haven't been in a relationship in a really long time either, that it's like I almost don't know how to answer. And then like seeing what you guys are all putting down, it's like, oh yeah, like absolutely, like you really kind of forget those things, and they are important, because when you actually put yourself in and visualize that, it's like that is exactly what my heart needs, right? So thank you for that.
Thank you, Eric. That's beautiful. Mara, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I always put my hand up because I'm that person that will start talking as soon as somebody starts talking. So I always have to put my hand up. It's a curse. It happens every time. So I actually just got out of a relationship, 12-year relationship a couple of months ago. And I voiced out the needs that I put out there with this person for several years. They were just never, and it wasn't until I realized my own self-worth and my value, and the fact that, like, kind of like that Miley Cyrus song, I can love myself better or something like that, I realized that I can express those same needs to the right person. It's just I had to accept that I was expressing them to the wrong person because he didn't want to meet those needs out of complacency and whatever his reasonings are. I realized that I need to stop trying to, I guess, get him to be on the same page as me, and just accept that we're both at different stages in our lives now. And I think that was a huge thing that I needed for my healing. Because for so long I was like, why can't you just the simple things? But you know what? Like, it was just not the right person. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that process and being so open about it. Currency, I love it. Thank you so much for the vulnerability. Okay, I want to do one last thing, and this is something we did last time, so we can keep ourselves accountable, the accountable portion. Let's every person except for Steph, because you weren't here, unless you did this at some point randomly, that'd be super synchronistic if you did this. We had an assignment of taking ourselves out on a date, and whether you did it or not, you're gonna I'm gonna put you all on the spot. We're gonna share for 1 minute. I'll go first so I can bite the bullet. Describe your date. How did it feel? How did it go? I'll go first. I kind of mixed it. It wasn't like totally myself, but I did what I wanted to do. I went on a date actually with my partner. We went out in nature, but it was like perfect, and I didn't think about work, and felt so fucking good. And I'm so proud of myself for actually going into nature, because yeah, it's easy for me to just like work all day all the time and be like, I need to do more. So that's me, and I'm gonna sing off some other people. Mara, yeah, since you're on my screen right here, you can go next. Were you here on the last call actually? Sorry, I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I really did not take myself out on a date. I know, but you know what? I took some salmon out, so I'm gonna make myself a really nice dinner, and that's gonna be my date. Yes.
Get it? That's right. Perfect. Thanks for sharing. AP, how was your date with yourself?
Yeah, I actually did. I went to a coffee shop for a little while and read, and then went, like I said, I plan on doing was go to a bookstore and just kind of like wandered around for like an hour. I didn't post because I'm just horrible about posting on Instagram. I had it like set up to do it, and then I don't post on Instagram anymore. So, but yes, it was good. It was good.
That's awesome, brother. I can feel the energy. Thank you for doing that for you. That's fucking awesome. All right, next up we got Eric. How'd it go for you, Eric?
Okay, well, sorry, Matt, because it was, I know that you wanted to come on that date with me, right? Okay. Okay, none of that happened actually. Well, kind of. The fish tacos happened, but I did get to the beach, but I did decide to take myself forward with this thing. I call it the 7 chakra run. I go for 7 miles where I'll start for 3 miles of like a nice walk. And like, I actually do channel like each chakra, like just kind of see like where I'm at. And like literally then I'm turning around back from the river and running the last 3. And just like how good I feel, like, I don't know, like it's just like I mentioned earlier, like after that I'll ground on my grounding mat and stretch and just kind of like take care of myself and I just, yeah, I treated myself to those fish tacos. That's it. I didn't, nothing else besides that. So all right, I tried.
It's perfect, man. Absolutely perfect. Thank you for doing that for yourself and for the share. I love it. Sean, were you here when we did the dating thing?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
Oh man, it was I don't know. I'm conflicted now because like it was a lot of money. I got myself tickets like kind of pretty close to the glass too. So now I'm broke for the next year and a half. But you know what? It was definitely something much needed. So yeah, I definitely tried to make the most of it, and it was good. It was good.
Sick, brother. You did it. That's what matters. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
What's money when it's something you love?
Exactly, right?
Yeah, man. Sick. Thank you so much. I love that you did it. Let's keep going here. Matt, how'd it go for you, brother?
Yeah, mine went really well. I didn't walk into town and get ice cream. I was also overly ambitious because I live like 7 kilometers from town. But I did just go out into nature, which is on my what I need list. Ice cream isn't on what I need list, unfortunately. But I did get out and yeah, just no phone, walk in nature, combos with God, and yeah, it felt really, 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 really good. Had some people over on Saturday, and so to get out on Sunday and just go and do that, it felt really, really great. Yeah, and I wouldn't have done it if we didn't have this group, and I knew that I would have had to say this today. Pressure's on when you're hosting, right? So, but I'm really, really glad. The right account. What does it say? Accountability is the glue that holds commitment to results. So thank you guys so much because I really, really, really needed it and deserved it. So thank you guys.
Yes. Thank you, brother. That's awesome. That's awesome. Brandon, you're up next. How'd it go for you, brother?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So I just dialing in a bunch of stuff in my life, but funny enough, after the call last Monday, I removed Instagram from my apps. I still obviously can go on the internet and access my account. I didn't want to remove it completely because I still have contacts and things like that in there, but I found myself doing too much doom scrolling. So ironically enough, I literally went to post it on Instagram just out of habit. I took a photo so I took myself out to a movie on Tuesday. So I took myself out to a movie, went and saw Creed 3, which is a boxing movie, and I'm, just like the fitness, the energy, just everything was kind of fitting. I had an interesting moment where I realized I paid for the movie, and then I was like, I don't think I need to get myself popcorn. I don't need drink. I don't need this. And I was like, why am I not? Like, if I was on a date with somebody else, I'd be wanting to treat them to those things. Like, literally, it wouldn't even have crossed my mind. We're getting popcorn. We're doing it up. And so it was just cool to have that like inner conversation with myself and then go get the popcorn. And I think I took 2 handfuls out of a large popcorn and threw out the rest of the end. But just allowing myself to do it the way I would treat somebody else to treat myself was a cool realization that I had during that, which was nice. And I agree with Matt completely. I probably wouldn't have done it had we not finished the call up on Monday and had the idea to go to a movie. And I was like, you know what? I said I'm doing it. Tuesday I'm going. I got off work a little early, caught the 4:30 movie, and it was worth it, and it felt good.
Amazing, man. I love that. What a good story too. I like that, like reflection of like thinking about if you would have done it for someone else and then doing it for yourself. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the share. Steph, I know you weren't here for last call, but did you do anything for yourself?
I did.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
So lately I've been well, the past year, I would say I've been really trying to step into taking myself more out for like just doing things for myself, whether it's massages or getting a pizza, or eating something that I just wouldn't ever do before. And I'm doing that more often, which is really cool. But specifically this week, I had like a day where I was like fun day. Like sometimes I call them like fun days where you can just, really allow your intuition to guide you to do something that's really enjoyable. And so I do go to the forest a lot, so I wanted to make it kind of different. So I went to the beach and I just brought my matcha and I just watched the ocean, and it was so beautiful. And then I went and I actually bought a couple of things after, which I have not done shopping in a while. I got some sunglasses and some new runners, and it was really, really cool. So that was my fun day. And that was just a couple days ago. So yeah.
Amazing. I just knew it. I knew you would have done the first like task, and I knew that I had a feeling you've done this. You're meant for the community calls. Keep coming back. I love it.
Yeah.
Sweet. I know we're a little over time here, but let's get the last 2 folks in here, the beautiful humans. Tiana, you want to jump on and share your date with us? Were you on the last call?
I did take myself on a date today. I was not on the call though.
Oh,
I took a walk. I got cute and took a walk to the library and read a book on budgeting because I'm focusing on my finances this year. And it was so much fun, and I made a friend at the library.
Nice. Yes. Developing that secure relationship with finances. I love it.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Thank you so much. And I know, Bay, your voice is not doing so hot, but if you want to share or even type, I just want to make you feel seen. Yeah, oh, she put it in there. Ah, okay, nice. Yes, thank you for sharing in there. Oh, wait. Dancing, oh, nice. Yeah, oh, that sounds nourishing as fuck. So good, look at us. All right, everyone. Well, really good job today. We got so much in. We're getting better and better at these community calls. One thing I'll just remind you all is like, I think we'll keep you accountable to this next Monday if you join in, is we're going to ask about like, just keep it in the forefront of your mind. Like, can you really put yourself first this week in connection to those needs? Like, can you really like, act within those needs and give yourself that? And just notice, like, I will share vulnerably, like sometimes I'm like, I don't really need to do morning routine. I'll just go on my phone. I'll go on social media. I'll do this thing. Oh, I don't really need to settle down for bed. But every time we do those things, we're losing trust with ourselves, right? We're losing our ability to actually believe the word that our own word, right? So like every time, if you say you're gonna wake up in the morning and not go on your phone, then you do, like that is sabotaging yourself. You're sacrificing the integrity of your word to appease something else, this outside world. So I would encourage everyone to just like have that frame this next week. Like, can you put your needs first? Can you put yourself first? And then we'll keep you accountable in that. We can share a little bit next time on how it was like to, really honor our needs that would make us our best version of ourselves. And is there anything else you want to add there, Matt?
Yeah, thank you so much for calling on me. You could probably hear me being like, Brian, I got something I want to add to that. Two things. Call to action tomorrow, guys. Switching the script on codependency. It's going to be an epic call with Dr. Divi, and I'm super excited for you guys to meet her. But I just wanted to add one extra thing to what Brian said, because it's a little bit more intense than you're just abandoning yourself and not having trust with yourself. You're actually consistently programming your brain. That's what habits are. You're creating programs and then running the program, right? That's what a habit is. So this is how it works. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. And then you wake up at 8. The program you just created is, when I tell myself I'm going to wake up at 7, it means I'm going to wake up at 8. If you say tomorrow I'm going to eat healthy and then you don't eat healthy, that means the program you're now creating is, every time I tell myself I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to be inclined to not eat healthy. So it's more than just not trusting yourself. You're laying programs down for yourself to run. So this is why tiny habits are so important. Setting those tiny goals is so important, because it's not just lying to yourself, it's creating this entire program. So be very mindful, be mindful of those things that you say you're going to do, because if you don't do them, you're laying out that type of program. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I love you so much. Thank you so much, Mara. Thank you, AP. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Steph. So good to see you. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Brian. Obviously, so much, dude. That was amazing. Thank you for leading the call today. Thank you, Sean. Tiana, is awesome to see you. And thank you so much, Bay, of course, as well. Love you guys so much. Have an awesome week, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Much
Thanks,
love,
everybody.
everyone. Peace.